Hi, welcome to Power to the Flower. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm Kara, and today I thought it would be fun and helpful, hopefully, to return to the lemon tree. So my video from March, Pruning a Lemon Tree Using Tree Science as Your Guide, has had over 22,000 views and a lot of really kind and generous comments in which people have talked about how helpful the video was. So that is just makes my day. That's the reason why I put these videos out, and I'm really glad that it was helpful. So I made that video in March where I was really trying to reshape this tree. And then I did a second video in September, which has not had as many views. It's called Building a Table and Follow Up on the Lemon Tree. And so I did another prune job then because we had crossing branches in the back of the tree. And so I was trying to kind of take care of all of the crossing branches this year and kind of reshape the tree. So as many of you know who watched that video, my father-in-law is a pomologist, a fruit tree scientist. He's retired now from UC Davis, but he is the one who has given me all of my knowledge about pruning lemon trees. And we were talking at Christmas, and he agreed to do some more pruning videos because it seems like this was really helpful for people. And so we thought we could do some pruning videos on peach, apricot, pluot, plum, apple. I don't know, he has a lot of different trees he has access to. So we will hone in on that in the spring of 2022. And so be looking out for more specific tree pruning videos. And hopefully, I mean, Ted is very knowledgeable, so we'll get some information, general and more specific for each type of tree that we might need to know. The first thing I want to do is let's look at the lemon tree. So I'm going to get behind the camera. Just get up and into the lemon tree. I'm going to try and put a picture comparison of March versus today on the screen. So today, March, then September. Firstly, I guess I want to note that the tree is looking very green and the new growth is slightly lighter in color, but it's doing much better than back in March when it was quite yellow. So that is coming from the iron tone that I scratch into the soil around the tree. I've done it twice. I did it at the time that we made this rock wall bed, which was in January of last year, and then I did it again in the summer. So from the back of the tree, maybe you recall this view, we did a heading cut right here. And from that, we have growth, new growth right here, new growth right here, and new growth right here. I think that was probably in March. Then in September, I believe, I did some more heading cuts back here. And I tried, this one looks like it maybe wasn't cut, it broke, and then a new growth came, heading cut there. New growth came from all of these nodes inside of the branch. And so now we have like a lot of growth happening out the back of the tree. Let's see. Let's switch over to this view so that I can show you the scored branch. I keep forgetting about this amazing branch. So what we did right here, this is where we scored the tree. We basically made a little scratch above one of the nodes, which caused the tree to think that it had had a heading cut, and it sent a new branch out the side of that stem, which is amazing because there was nothing, no branches for about 2 feet right there. I also did some heading cuts up here. This one was from March, I believe, and then we had new growth, and then I lopped the top off of all of the new growth in September, and we have tons. That fall growth was going bonkers. If you look closely, you can see I have leaf damage on the fresh new growth. That is a clue. And if you look even closer, you can see there's like mining inside of the leaves. And so I think it is citrus leaf miner. So there is an interesting website that I want to direct you to called UC IPM, which stands for Integrated Pest Management. And it's just general information for Californians specifically on how to handle pests and what's kind of the research show about pest management. So I'll read you the information that they talk about when it comes to leaf miner. First off, what is citrus leaf miner? So the citrus leaf miner is a very small, light-colored moth that arrived in California from Mexico in 2000 and has now spread throughout most of California. The female moths lay their eggs on the underside of the leaves, and then the new larvae mine or tunnel through the inside bits of the leaves. The larvae mines curl and distort the leaves and leave slug-like trails in the leaves. So leaf miners feed on new young leaves, fresh flushes of growth. And since I pruned twice in 1 year, I had a ton of new growth. And that probably explains why I have this problem. The great news is that the IPM says while the new flesh of mature trees may be heavily damaged by citrus leaf miner and look unsightly, yield and tree growth of most varieties will be unaffected. The exception, dun dun dun, is with coastal lemons, which have multiple growth flushes. And I basically did that this year by pruning twice. And citrus leaf miners damage and weaken the leaves, making them more susceptible to wind damage and other pests. So this explains a lot about why I have these broken branches after a recent rainstorm. I had a ton of fresh growth this year, and citrus leaf miner moths were attracted to the new flesh. So what do we do? The IPM tells us to keep our pruning down to once per year so that the cycles of flushing are uniform and short. And if we do it before March, then we'll have less leaf miners around. The second thing to do is to use baited traps with the sex pheromone that the females give out. And this is helpful because it will help us to know when the moths are at their peak, and it traps the males. And then we can do our third thing, which is to use neem oil as a preventative on the leaves as a deterrent for the eggs. My understanding with the leaf miner is that it's just really hard to get rid of because you're trying to kill it at all the different stages. So if you use regular pesticides, then you might kill like one stage, like the larvae or the fly, but then whatever part that you didn't get is still growing, kind of like having aphids. It's just tricky to get rid of. So I'm going to be continuing. Oh my word, I see a hummingbird. I'll try and get. See it? It's going crazy in those little succulents over there. Maybe it sees itself in the mirror. Oh, and look at those evergreen abutilon. I think they're called mango cheesecake. Oh, there's two now. Okay, that was fun. Anyways, it's just a pain. So I'm going to try putting these traps out. I'll put the link below. I got them on Amazon. I'm repeating myself now, so quick voiceover. The main points are citrus leaf miner is probably fine. It just is kind of annoying to have. Also, we can get rid of it without using pesticides, but you can use pesticides and look into that more if you'd like. But overall, it's kind of just an annoying problem to have, but won't affect our crops. My personal plan is to carry on using these pheromone traps and neem oil during the growing season and try and just reduce my pruning to once a year in February. It's still heavy on this side, but there is a lot more growth on this side than before. And you could see there's tons of lemons. They're not quite ready, although I've still been using them. There's a bit of green on the back sides, but there's quite a few lemons still on here despite pruning twice during the year. So the next obvious question then is when to prune. And some places that I've researched have said, anytime, which is what I tried last year. But I think this whole pest management learning curve has told me I want to get started before the highest impact of the citrus leaf miner, which is March through November, that those bugs are around the most and the highest. So I'm going to be pruning in February. Thanks so much for joining me here today on Power to the Flower. You can find me during the week on Instagram or on Facebook. See you in the next video. Bye.